Hi everyone, for today's book review we're going to be checking out Pulp Fiction Fighters, aircraft exported to Latin America for military purposes between 1930 and 1939. This is a gorgeous book, let me just say that straight out. I'm a fan of this book and its side profiles. This is published by European Airlines, who have done some magnificent books in the past, and you would have seen a few of these reviewed previously. This particular book looks explicitly at the aircraft themselves. There is an introduction into the context of Latin America, the status of aviation, and airline manufacturers and their desire for exports during that turbulent decade. We then go through an analysis of each of the major countries and their requirements and needs for aircraft and what they were able to get. However, it is worth noting and clarifying that this is not a book about the various wars or about the aviation battles that took place in Latin America in the 1930s. There are other books out there, such as Conquistadors of the Sky, which has been co-written by Dan H. Horn. There's also Aircraft of the Chaco War, and these have a more historical, geopolitical perspective regarding the sources of the various wars, the aircraft used, and the way they were used, and the battles that they were involved in. This book can almost be seen as a companion, particularly to Conquistadors of the Sky, because its pure focus is on the aircraft themselves. Aside from the first chapter that brings us to the information about the various countries and their procurement for aircraft, we then jump into an alphabetical encyclopedic listing of each aircraft type and the known information about its service and what adventures or not it got up to. Each aircraft type is illustrated in this exquisite side profile views, and you'll see a few of these here. All side profiles are done in color. All of them have been meticulously researched, and while some color schemes are educated guesses, they are based on evidence and as many inferences as possible to get you what may have authentically been the color schemes and the livery of these aircraft. If you know aircraft manufacturers, you're going to see a lot of familiar names here: Arado, Avro, Junkers, Curtiss, Caproni. Plenty of familiar names here. You may also find some rather exotic ones. Indeed, there are planes in here that only of one type were produced. You'll get seaplanes, even a gyro plane as well was used at one point. It is also worth noting that one of the specifics that South American, or rather the Latin American countries wanted, is they wanted planes that were essentially multi-capable aircraft. So a plane designed for passenger service could double as a hospital aircraft, even a bomber. And there is one instance, I think one of the Curtiss aircraft, where it was converted into a bomber, and instead of cutting out a bomb bay, they basically ripped out the in-flight toilet and then used the exit hole of the toilet as the bomb drop facility. So you would get an extra stinky bomb should you be at the receiving end of that. It also is a reason why when you look at some of these profiles, there are some planes that will have machine gun positions put in places that you don't expect them to be. Some of these were done in-house, locally, by the air forces themselves to try to make these planes a little more compatible with their war needs. What is equally impressive about this book is the amount of research that has gone into the information of each plane and plane type. In some instances where the documentation is available, they can even detail just how many flight hours the plane was able to do. In some instances where the fate is known, either it was crashed or abandoned or scrapped or just simply left to become junk, this is also included. And that is equally the value of this book as these beautiful side profiles. It is impressive the amount of research that has gone into it, and they have gone to great pains to either find as much verifiable information about the life and combat history or service of these aircraft, as well as dispelling myths about certain aircraft. Some aircraft may have exaggerated numbers in service or exaggerated flight hours. Where these myths have existed, they've been able to basically dismantle it and bring us much closer to the real service history of these aircraft. If you love pre-World War II propeller aircraft, if you love aviation, if you have an interest in aviation in Latin America, or of course if you are just interested in aviation in general, then my goodness, this is a fantastic book. The side profiles are exquisite and a joy to behold, and the meticulous aircraft information is informative and a masterclass in how to be concise with the information that you present. So for all this for me is a 5 captain's hats. It's a stunning book, beautifully illustrated and meticulously researched. So if you have an interest in 1930s aviation, then please do not hesitate. Go and check out Pulp Fiction Fighters.